Justin, what's up? Welcome back.
Thank you.
I remember enjoying our discussion last time. Cameron, keep bringing on this friend of yours. Oh, the other waste of spaces that you usually bring.
You loved Matt. You were like about to freaking give Matt a kiss.
Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. I can't deal with this right now. That's my best impression of Casey Affleck.
Don't ruin that scene.
I thought I added to it. We've got Jordan Christensen on the pod.
You want me to take a shower right now? You want me to take a shower? I don't give a fudge what you do.
I don't care. That's great, dude.
Yeah, as if he was hitting on her, dude. What a stupid whore.
I was also like, you can run a shower and you don't have to be inside it. Like, usually I turn on my shower and I'm not inside it.
Dude, she was a piece of work, man.
I didn't say she was. I said she was acting like.
I know.
Or no, what does he say? I said she was at me. Or what does he say?
Yeah, he said, I didn't say she was a bitch.
I didn't say she was a bitch.
I said she was being at me.
I just love him doing that because I've always wanted to do that to a customer. Just like, oh, you're driving me nuts because they're so mean.
Yeah.
Just want to grab him by the face and scream in their face.
Just grab him by the ear. And I just...
Sounds scary. It sounds really scary, Jordan. I should probably talk to someone about that before you act on that impulse. We've got Cameron Mickle on the pod.
Uncle E, are you fundamentally unsound?
And we've got Justin Watsaba.
Get out of my Evan house right now. Okay. Get out of my Evan house right now. Okay. I can't. Why? Because you're blocking the doorway.
See that exchange.
Today we are discussing Manchester by the Sea, also known as depressing everybody out until you get that
Affleck's
Oscar.
best performance.
Dude. Yes. I gotta say, guys, you know, of all the movie universes I wish I could be in, Manchester by the Sea by far is the one movie I wish I could go live in. You know, just want to live in this world, have the life that our characters have.
Doesn't it feel like he kind of exists in the Joker universe? I just feel like this character just...
There could not be a sadder life. Like, is there anyone that's envious of this guy's life? Like, is this the saddest movie? Like, I'm trying to think of the saddest movies I know. Schindler's List probably wins.
I think it's the most real movie of just like daily sadness.
Yeah. Painstakingly real.
Of just
like,
loss.
Watch like 4 different scenes of shoveling snow, like 8 different mental breakdowns, suicide attempts. Like, oh man, this movie's muy heavy.
It's very
muy heavy. So let's get into it. This movie came out in 2016. It was directed by Kenneth Lonergan and written by Kenneth Lonergan. I keep saying his name wrong.
It's a different
name
every
Casey
time.
Affleck. Yeah.
Lonergan.
It stars Casey
Lonergan.
Affleck, Michelle... Shut up. Stars Casey Affleck, Michelle Williams, Kyle Chandler, whose character's name is Joe Chandler. Got to keep his last name. Just found that funny. It's got Lucas Hedges. It's got Ivy. How do you pronounce that name? Ivy O'Brien. Richard Donnelly, Quincy Tyler Bernstein, Missy Yeager, and a few. Oh, and Matthew Broderick and Stephen McKinley. Can't forget those. Stephen McKinley, Mr. Emery. The most cluttered office I've ever seen of all time. That scene where he's talking to the landlord that he works for. What a disgusting work environment, dude. Ugh. Papers everywhere. The scene looks so cluttered. I mean, great set design, because that seemed very real as like a hoarder that you work for. Ugh. Guys, what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? Let's start with you, Cameron.
Awesome. Well, this movie was on my bucket list for like ever, on my watch list forever when I came home from my mission, and Jordan had told me good things about it, and
why was it on your bucket list? Because did you hear from other people or just outside of Jordan?
I heard a couple people. Justin had told me about it, and then Jordan had told me about it, and then I started to really like Casey Affleck, like after watching Good Will Hunting, and what's called Gone Baby Gone, and I was like, oh, I really need to watch Manchester, or I might have watched Manchester by the Sea before Gone Baby Gone. But regardless, I started to fall in love with Affleck, and Casey he's just so good, and it's just like...
Affleck.
Like Drew, I watched it so I watched it for the first time, was absolutely blown away, so sad, but so beautiful. just so emotion filled. I cried at the scene with his ex-wife, and then
I did it justice at the beginning of the podcast for all those listeners out there.
close. And then
It's pretty much the reel they used for the Oscars, when this ran at the Oscars. Like, they used that sad scene, and without context, you're like, this is really sad, but you have to watch the entire 2 hours and 15 minutes
of
leading
him
up
just
to
being
it.
so
And
composed and just
yes.
And then
shut off, closed off.
And then watching for the second time, Drew pointed out a really good point of just like, I think another reason why it's just so amazing is Casey Affleck does such a good job of not seeming like an actor. Like, you forget that he's an actor in this movie. And yeah, just rewatching for the second time, I thought it wouldn't be as sad because I knew the twists and turns, but still I was just like Ty said, holy cow, this is the saddest life a human being could live. But a masterful film.
Jordan, how about you? What was like watching it for the first time and rewatching it for the pod?
I thought Cameron was the one who recommended this to me, but maybe not. I
think I'm guilty of recommending this movie. I found out that it got Best Picture winner, and I was like, everybody keep this on your radar. It's a movie I want to see.
It might be from
I never got
it
around
might
to
be
seeing
from
it.
Ty and Justin, and then because I remember I forced Jordan to watch it, and then Jordan was like, okay, yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know who. Anyways, but I love this movie. First time and this time, cried a lot. The second time I saw it, I watched it on VidAngel. I'm all for VidAngel. However, with this film, without the language, it's so different. It packs a lot more emotion. Not saying you need language in order to feel emotion, but just how they deliver the lines in this movie.
Gee dang it, Jordan. Why don't you just come out and say it? Jordan's got a bit of a language problem.
The power in everything they say, and they just talk. It's just how these, you watch Departed, and then you watch,
Power.
These Bostonites, how they just speak. It's just very...
Is it Bostonians?
Bostonians.
Bostonites? Bostiegans. Oh.
Yeah. San Diegans.
San Diegoans. And we've got Justin. What was it like watching it for the first time, rewatching it for the podcast?
So, if you remember, this movie was a preview way before it came out. So I remember seeing the previews in very early 2016.
Did it spoil anything? Because I'm so glad I didn't watch a preview.
Well, I don't like watching an entire length preview. I usually cut at a minute or less.
Cut when you know if you're going to see it or not.
Yeah.
That's my rule.
Exactly.
It's when I know I'm going to go see the movie, stop watching. If I know I'm not going to see the movie, why keep watching?
Exactly. So I'm pretty similar to Cameron. I saw the preview way before it came out. Found out that it aired when I was on my mission. So I had to wait 2 years, kept it on my watch list.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you snuck into a theater or something.
No. And I also am a very big fan of Casey Affleck. The first movie I saw with him was Good Will Hunting, but he has such a small role, and in a lot of those movies he has really small roles, and so this was one of the first really big films that got a lot of attention where he was a lead role. So I was especially excited, and I watched it, the very first time I watched it was with my cousin, and I gotta admit, I actually really enjoyed watching it both with someone and without someone, and I think it helped me experience it in a different way. And I actually watched it earlier today for the third time to prepare for the podcast, and it may have gotten better every single time. So, big fan of this movie. Big fan.
Great. Yeah, I appreciate you guys' comments. I remember just every year I would always keep on my watch list to see why some movies are the critically acclaimed, the Oscars and everything. I know a lot of nominations were headed this way toward this movie when it came out. And a lot of people were it's super bleak and depressing. No one's going to want to rewatch it again. Who would punish themselves so much to rewatch a movie like this? Which is why sometimes I think some of the Oscar movies are funny. Some of the picks, I'm I would never rewatch that movie again. I'm sure The Road got all kinds of accolades and whatnot, Viggo Mortensen and Charlize Theron, getting best supporting and best actor. And it's in the end, it's this is such a punishing movie. I can't watch it again. I just can't. And this movie really was tough. I was this is a really bleak movie. I was surprised because I kept waiting for the inciting incident, and then I realized this is going to be the tone throughout the rest of the movie. So this is my first time watching it, even though I've had this, like you guys said, on my radar for a long, long time. And it was It was a tough watch. It's weird. I don't say that very often, but it was a tough watch. So let's get into two of our favorite things from this movie. All I can think of is sad things right now. I can think of the two saddest things from this movie. But why don't we start with you, Justin? What are your two favorite things from this film?
One for sure is the flashbacks. I think it's really hard for a director and a writer to have good, constant flashbacks throughout a movie. And I think this movie is one of the best movies when it comes to the order of flashbacks and how they use it to tell the story. The only movie I can think of that does it better is Memento by Christopher Nolan. But I loved the flashbacks and the way they use it to tell Casey Affleck's his character's story and whatnot. And then I loved the visual. I love the scenery and the setting that they shot it in. They shot it in the wintertime, in Massachusetts, and so it has this setting of cold winter, snow. It's never sunny in the entire show.
It's triggering my seasonal affective disorder.
Exactly. And so it really and that side of Boston or Massachusetts is so pretty with the water in the city Manchester, which I don't think that's what the city is named still or something like that. I thought I saw somewhere that that's like not what the city's name is anymore. It used to be called Manchester. But anyways, I just love the visual scenery of it, and I think it really helped keep the plot and the storyline consistent. So flashback and scenery.
Great. Cameron, how about you, two of your favorite things?
Yeah, my favorite thing about this movie is just like the greatest part is that it's like has like that feeling of like a documentary of just like there's so many shots and so many wide angles to where a lot of times you don't like you see something happening, but it's like you're actually present when the stuff is happening. Like for example, when the son finds out, when Patrick finds out about his dad's death, you're over with the hockey kids and you can see his reaction. You can tell the coach is like trying to comfort him, but you can't hear what's being exchanged. And so like it feels like you're put into the scenario, into like every single scene too. Like a lot of times you don't really see their emotions, and even at the funeral, like they have music overplaying over their talking to where it's Jordan's just waiting for me to say it's so realistic. But it's just, I just think it's so beautiful because it just puts you into the world to where like I think that's why Ty, you feel like you had that feeling of it being so heavy, is because I think that's why it's harder than other films, because sad films are just like, oh, that was so sad. But then like 30 minutes after you forget about the movie. But this one, you feel like you went through it with him, or that you're one of his friends helping him through that. And I feel like that's what... Yeah, Jordan?
No, I was just going to say, adding to the documentary idea, it's just like there's scenes where they're like trying to get the what is it called? Not a hearse, but the stretcher.
Are you talking about the ambulance stretcher? I wrote that down. Just get her in the...
Yeah, and they can't get it up on the thing. Like, it just feels so real. I love that.
Absolutely. And then there's so much...
Awkward hug.
Yeah, and like you want the perfect like dramatic funeral with sad, and then the baby starts crying, and it takes away, and it takes the camera off, so it's just like, oh, it's taking your attention away because it's like, that's distracting.
I didn't even see the funeral. I remember thinking that. I was like, that was cheap, but I'm like, sometimes like you're just like zoned out. You're like, we're just going through this motion, going through this step, and you're like, I don't want to be here.
I love when they're at the house and he's like, he doesn't want the food.
Get him a plate. He hasn't eaten yet.
What?
What?
Well, he said.
Has he gotten any food?
What are you saying? Has he had any food? No, he said he doesn't want to eat anymore. I'll make him a plate of food. This looks so annoying.
And I feel like that's so cool because like that's such a accurate representation of life, because sometimes like you'll be like in a sad mood, or like you'll want to be sad, and then like there's just real life around you where sometimes people aren't as sad as you, and they're just like trying to interact with you normally, and you're just like inconvenienced by the fact that you're like, just let me mourn and be grumpy and like and grieve, but they're like, oh well, like I'm still just
like 40 cops taking the pistol away from your head. Like, what was that about, dude? Just let him grieve, right, Karen?
No, just like that scene when he's walking back to the car with Patrick and he's like arguing with her. He's like, great parenting. Oh, you, man. He's like, what's your problem? He's like, you want to fight? And he's like trying to square with that guy.
I love that quote. Great parenting. Great parenting.
Like, and it's just like...
Who was that guy? Who does that?
The neighborhood He's the guy that freaking reports you for putting your trash cans out a day
I
early.
actually thought it was the bearded friend that ends up adopting the kid for a second. I thought it was him. The guy at the hospital.
I worked with a guy who, a young girl, like, she's like, you shouldn't treat your kids like that. And she's like, do you have kids? And the girl's like, no, but, and she's like, then shut the heck up.
That's so funny. No, but yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like scenes like that it's just like, it's so real. It's like he's going through this hard thing, and then some dude just has the audacity to be like, great parenting. He's like, I'm taking care of him because my brother just died, and I'm not even his like legal guardian. So like,
I can see Cameron just losing it on somebody like that.
Do you have any idea? I've had enough to hear with Turbo Man.
oh yeah, there's no way on earth that I could be as composed as
Arnold
he.
Schwarzenegger got close to it with Jingle All the Way, you know.
Yeah. He's
Well,
way too
Sinbad, he
composed.
actually grabbed that lady and was like choking her.
Everyone at the post office but me.
I was just gonna agree with you. Like the scene that I like really noticed what you're talking about is his first night or his first morning there when his girlfriend sleeps over and then they are eating breakfast. No one would take the energy to make a hot breakfast that next morning, and they get cereal rather than like having to put the effort into cooking breakfast. And I thought that just like was so realistic, because cereal is like the easiest thing that you just pour milk and cereal in a bowl, and that's like kind
Yeah,
of
you pour the milk first and then the cereal on top of it, right?
you know, of course but like I just like you
and
know,
then
like,
it runs off of the spoon and bounces out of the bowl, right?
and
That's
then
what I'm talking
and you're
about.
not gonna clean up the mess because you're mourning,
Yeah.
but like Lee's
just wipe it up with the sleeve, you know.
Lee's character is like on the phone with like the funeral dude trying to talk or call the hospital about his
That's
dead
when
brother.
child abuse.
Why-
is
And arguing
okay.
about money.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna, like, why is his body more expensive to drive it on Highway 125 or whatever? And you can tell the girlfriend's like obviously upset. She's like, are we really gonna have to talk about this? And
Like,
Oh.
twice, second time,
Child
because the boys,
abuse is okay in that
his
moment.
friends were talking about Star Trek, and whatever.
And she's like,
and
how
she's
can
like,
we
are
be
you
Star
seriously talking about Star Trek right now? I was like,
Yeah, and then
Like,
he's-
what do you want to talk
and-
about? His dead father? Holy shit! It's
And then,
Yeah,
and then he goes,
freaking
and then
mad,
he just
dude.
goes, I like Star Trek.
I like Star Trek.
Yeah,
I
she's
just
so
thought-
annoying. God.
I just thought
Yeah,
like
it's so
eating
annoying.
cereal the next morning like so fit the scene of how real it is, because no one's gonna be like waking up early making waffles and pancakes and
Yeah.
eggs and bacon. It's like
Exactly.
cold, boring, depressing cereal.
and see, and,
My
and-
first note I took for the movie was girlfriend was so annoying. That's the first note I took for this movie.
No,
She was
yeah,
like the
Justin-
first thing I
Justin,
had a reaction
what I
to
love-
where they like baby him, right? Yeah, it's so funny. Like,
Yeah,
don't
that's
talk
what I
about
love
these
too,
things
Justin.
in front of him.
It's because some people treat you like you want to
Yeah.
be like taken care of, but at the same time, some people like take it too far, and that's what I just thought was so realistic too. Is just like the relationships, and that goes into my second favorite thing. My second favorite thing is just the demonstration of how different people deal with grief. I just think it's so beautiful to see the differences of like, because originally with Patrick, like his dad just died, and he's like, "Hey, can my girlfriend come sleep over?" Like, gives absolute zero. He's like, his dad just like died, and he's
Well,
like,
at first he doesn't, but remember he changes his mind later.
Yeah, I don't want her
"Yes,
over
I'm
here.
very
Yeah.
aware."
Weird vibes from him.
What's Lee gonna say to that? Like in the moment, he's never been a parent before. He doesn't know he's gonna be the legal guardian yet, and
Why are
he's
you
just
asking
like,
me? That's the best.
yeah, and it's like, oh, and if like her parents call, tell her she slept downstairs, and he's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's like, his oldest kid that ever lived was like 7 years old. Yeah, he's never dealt with like a teenage child because all those freaking children died.
Teenage child.
Yeah.
Juggling two girlfriends.
Yeah,
I am in hockey. I have two
You're
girlfriends.
you're just a stupid
Stay here.
janitor. Couldn't you
Just
just
a
move up
stupid
here?
janitor.
or he's just like, are you gonna? And he's like, no. He goes, would Joe tell you that? Like asking, like, is that what your father would say? Because I have no idea what to say.
Kind of going into the like more into like the grief of how they deal with it. I just think it's so interesting of like how other people treat you with the grief, and like it's just so sad because like originally Patrick doesn't really care, but then also he gets so caught up in that the world revolves around him and woe is me that he just starts to throw out like, well, my dad just died, why can't you just like move here? Like you don't want to ruin my high school life. And it's like, do you understand how much pain comes from like living in this town for him? And it's just so selfish to where it's
Yeah,
like when
and
you-
my
when you're going through a
garbage
hard
talented garage band, dude. You know, we're gonna go places, man.
Exactly.
And Otto, you're dragging or you're so slow. Beat up the tempo, man. Otto.
Ty, were you thinking of Whiplash?
Yeah, dude. Was I rushing or dragging? Like, dude, he needs to talk to J.K. Simmons. He needs to fine tune that drumming.
I think they were just messing with him, though. You're going too
Poor
fast,
Otto, dude. I know they're all yelling at Otto. I don't think he was rushing or dragging. I don't know anything about it.
For me, that's why I feel like it's such a great representation. I feel like a lot of times we think that a current problem is sometimes like because we're struggling with something currently that we forget the needs of others. Is because a lot of times we think, oh, because I'm going through something right now, like I have harder trials than this person, but it's like they have, in the big scheme of things, probably a lot worse things than you do, and you're so focused on yourself that you can't see that they like have those difficulties.
Yeah.
And Ty, how was it seeing Ferris Bueller?
I was actually going to say, my two favorite things from this movie, I loved this whole side plot where they go and see Matthew Broderick appears, and he's like this uptight Christian man with his new, like, left alcoholism. You know, she's no longer an alcoholic,
But
at
still
least
psycho.
from what we can tell. But absolutely manically in the church, and I can't help but think that that's his choice, and he's like saved her, right? He's got the savior complex.
Dude, I got false vibes.
False vibes.
Yeah, when she's like, "Oh yeah,
I loved
I'm
it.
so
Like,
changed."
And Patrick's mother, the ex-drunk's mother, I guess, ex-alcoholic, gives such a bad rap to religious people. Like, it's so annoying. Like, you could say amen. we're not trying to recruit you or anything. It's like, yeah, she was so annoying. Anyway, I really like just immediately after the scene where there's an email, and Matthew Broderick is like narrating this email, and he's just like, yeah, it was really great that you came to visit your mother, and now I care for your mother, and you'll be talking through me if you ever want to revisit her or visit her again. She's in a very delicate stage right now. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, basically tell Patrick that he's the reason that your mother's an alcoholic without saying that you're the reason your mother's an alcoholic, you know? Like, it was just, so I liked that whole side plot. And all the other parents. I liked the other one of Patrick's girlfriend's mothers that was trying to have a conversation with Casey Affleck, and she like goes up to her kids, and they're like, "Hey, I don't even know what to say. I'm trying to make small talk. This is just too awkward. Like, you're gonna need to wrap up because I need to get him out of the house. He makes me feel uncomfortable here." Like,
I love his just so cold. He can't even make a conversation.
and then Patrick's afterwards like, "Man, you couldn't help a brother out. You couldn't make small talk. You couldn't to keep her distracted for 10 minutes." I don't know. I thought that was so funny. His uncle wasn't a bro. Wasn't a bro.
I just love how little effort he puts into so many social interactions with people. Like, he's just like...
Yeah. And in the end, like, yeah, Patrick isn't justified. If you see what he's been through, he doesn't think he deserves happiness. Like, look at the advances being made on him by the chick at the bar. Like, they were clearly wanting to talk to him. They intentionally spilled alcohol on him and was like, let's start a conversation. And he's just like, yeah. He just doesn't say anything, and they're like, okay, well, I did this whole charade for nothing.
And I love it, too, where he feels zero awkwardness of just sitting there in awkwardness, in silence. It's so beautiful. He just like, I don't
Like,
care.
why don't you come in and eat dinner? And he's like, no, I'm okay. And then he's like, I guess I'll just drive back here. Like, what time are you going to be done? At 9 o'clock? Okay, I can come back then. It's like, just go in and eat the home-cooked meal. Like, the poor guy, like I said, he's just miserable. He can't get over it. He can't forgive himself. It's so devastating. And obviously, you learn about why that is, because I put down, like, why is he turning down a home-cooked meal? Why advances at the bar? Why? Like, and then it's later revealed his past, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, I just assumed he was taking the loss of his brother really hard, but then you're like, maybe losing his brother wasn't as hard of a thing as, like, what he's been through, which is, like, again, so spoiler alert, we're going to basically explain the plot of this movie, which we haven't even done, which is really funny. It just says, a depressed uncle is asked to take care of his teenage nephew after the boy's father dies. So,
Well, because the reveal of what happens to
yes. So in his past, there's like flashbacks. He's married, he's got kids, and you're wondering like what happened. He got divorced and his wife left him with the kids. Not exactly. It's more tragic than that. One night he had all his friends over. They were all getting drunk. And then she's like, I can't sleep. Y'all need to leave now. So she goes back into bed. He starts stoking a fire to keep the house warm because his wife has like a breathing issue. So she can't keep like vents on or something. They can't keep the central heat on. So he has to like keep a fire going to keep the house warm.
It dries out her sinuses.
Yeah, it was
Dries out her
allergies or
sinuses.
something.
Yeah.
She
so
can't
major
talk to us
allergies.
like that. Dude, that is such a great line.
Yeah, that's right, Cameron. Put women in their place. So I really
That's not what I
liked
was referring,
that
but okay.
he goes out and he's like, while I'm walking to the store, it's 20 minutes. I can't remember if I put the screen on the fireplace because I just put some fresh logs. And while he's walking, he's like, yeah, I think I did forget the screen. Makes a shopping trip, comes back, and the whole house is engulfed in flames and it's burning to the ground. And so thankfully his wife is actually saved. However, is it 2 kids and she was pregnant at the time? At least 2 kids. I don't remember if she is pregnant at the time. She does get pregnant later in the movie, but yeah, loses the 2 kids. She does survive, but can't forgive him. Or again, we actually don't see that conversation immediately after, which I thought was interesting. But at the end, it's all implied when she tells him, like, I accuse you, I said some really terrible things. You can kind of piece 2 and 2 together. She obviously blamed him for it.
Yeah,
but he's
the line that
grieving
she
just
says
like
is,
she is.
I should burn
you know.
in hell for the things I said to you.
Yeah,
Right,
it pretty much looks like they both blame him. You know, he blamed himself.
He blames
a great
himself.
amount.
Well, which was so tragic because what I wasn't expecting in the police station, he gives his report and he's like, "You guys arresting me? I can leave." Like he thinks he's guilty of sin. Like he's like, "I shouldn't be walking out of here as a free man." Like, and the cops are like, "Yeah, you made a mistake. It's not a crime to forget to put the screen on your fireplace." And then as he's walking out, he reaches for an officer's gun and it actually clicks. He's like trying to kill himself, and then all the cops restrain him. So now he's like on the brink of suicide. He's got to be on suicide watch. He's got, his wife that can't forgive him and blames him for what happened, and then they obviously separate. And so now he's like a miserable single guy working minimum wage in a crappy apartment, and then his brother ends up dying, and now he has to take care of his nephew who doesn't really care for him at all. I guess they're on friendly enough terms, like we see them at the beginning on the boat, but he's clearly more enamored with his dad. His dad is the successful brother. He's the one that runs a commercial fishing boat, all that stuff, and
That's funny because he plays the same character in Game Night, right? Isn't he the successful brother?
the successful older brother, yeah. Yeah, Kyle Chandler's character playing Joe, the older brother. Yeah, he's like...
But he didn't have the creepy neighbor, sadly.
Yeah, he didn't have Todd living next door. He wasn't like overly like, oh, the good brother, but it was interesting to watch. At least like, I don't know, like you do feel his loss because Casey Affleck does mourn his brother's loss. And it's interesting because you don't necessarily see him grieving his children until even the reveal happens. At the very end, it's when he's confronted by his wife that it all starts coming down because you realize he hasn't moved on from it and he's just been bottled it away. That's why he can't forgive himself. So I just think that's interesting. So yeah, that was my favorite thing. Like the complex forgiving people, dealing with depression, dealing with anxieties and a lot of other mental disorders. It's like really tough out there. So they did a really good job at capturing all that. So the movie's bleak. I give it credits for that. And sometimes, you're like, well, you should make a more positive movie. Make some little lighthearted, make a few jokes here and there. But we're just like, nah. It's going to be the saddest movie of all time.
I would partially
Let's do
disagree
it.
with you, though. I think it has an uplifting tone, especially watching it on the second time. Is like
Interesting.
The ending is because I think it's just showing the realistic side of a lot of times in movies it ends on a happy note, but then that next day isn't going to be as happy as that moment. And so in that movie, it kind of just shows you have to get better day by day, and that it is a process, and that you'll have your ups and downs. But like I feel like Lee is on an upward path towards becoming better.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was like, it kind of just ends. Like, I didn't feel like it was, I really liked that talk that he had with his wife, but she said, let's go get lunch. I just wanted one more bit of closure almost, but I don't know. The movie just ends. It's kind of sad. It's crazy, but it definitely adds to the whole feeling of like despair. I definitely got it from this movie. Mission accomplished, guys. Oh man.
When Justin was quoting the young teenage girl, like that whole scene, the breakfast scene, that's actually my favorite part of this movie is all the characters. Like they're so well written. Like that girl, just like how absolutely like, and not intense. What's the word? Like controlling she is, and like how she needs to be everything to be like everybody to be so sad all the time and stuff. I just like love.
Or talking about things in the right kind of light, right? Like you can't talk about this. You couldn't be possibly talking about money at a time.
Exactly.
No Star Trek. Not taking it seriously enough, and then talking about the reality. Like, no, you should nerf it down a bit. Like,
yes, I just know those types of people. Like, I love that they write these characters. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I totally know somebody just like that. Like, they really write personalities for all these people, and I love two-dimensional characters. So, very well done. I mean, my life is not as sad as Casey Affleck's, but I do relate a lot to his character. I just, I'm around a lot of negative people all day at work, and so it's very just there's so many negative like customers and all this stuff, and so all the time like there's moments I wish I could act like him, but I'm like I'd probably get fired. So
act like him, like lash out in bar fights like twice in the movie. Like, just start random bar fights with people in the bar.
well,
Random strangers.
just tell somebody like screw you, because some people are so mean. Like you'd be surprised like how mean they can get. So it's just, I mean, I guess not,
Hitler was a thing, People can be so rude sometimes. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I just love too, like how much he cusses, and then he's just like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry. Or when he's like, Epper, and then he's like, hey, stop that. But his wife just gets up. I can't deal with this. Just like walks out.
No, see, I love what's called. I don't know if it's just that northeastern like culture. I love it how they're always super rash and blunt when they speak to people, where they're just like, oh, you effing idiot, you're so stupid. And then they're like, oh, I know, I'm sorry, I should have done better. They're like, it's all right, don't worry about it, man. They're like so rude to start off and like confrontational, and then they're like so forgiving and like kind right after.
You ever meet anyone from Boston? Yeah, they can be.
It's just so funny because
be
like
quite a
there'll be so many
bunch.
instances where he'll be like, you stop being like an idiot, you stupid, oh my gosh. And they're like, I'm sorry, I'm just like really struggling right now. And they're like, hey, it's okay, man, hang in there, bro, we're praying for you. It's just like, it's such like a contrast.
And I love they didn't censor the kids. Like the kids were speaking like how kids speak. Like they're calling each other and stuff. Like just words that you're not, like definitely not okay to use these days or whatever. But it's just very fun to, like, it just felt very real. Maybe fun wasn't the right word. I just love when they're...
Oh, kids will be kids. Saying words like... That's great. You guys have any nitpicks?
So the only nitpick I thought of, and I forgot to mention too, this hit my top 100 list because the third time I like to watch...
That's a nitpick of mine, actually.
No, I like watching movies. After I watch them, if they get better over time after I watch them, which this movie did, I add it to my top 100, and it's well deserved because this movie is amazing.
What did it kick out? That's what I want to know.
It's very good.
It kicked out something.
I haven't actually finished my top 100, so that's why.
Oh, there you go. So, to be continued, because I don't think it'll stay there, to be honest.
I mean, it is pretty low, but it
No.
Text me.
Shouldn't be there.
Text me all your top hundreds.
Will do, Justin.
And my top 100 isn't like what I think is the greatest movies of all time. It's just what I love. Yeah.
Your top 100 favorite movies.
Yeah. You guys are just super bleak and depressing. That's all. I don't know why this movie would ever be in a top 100 list. I don't get it.
For how beautifully horrific it is.
Yeah. No, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like sad movies. Oh, and the reason, too, I had seen this one is because my roommate got me into all these Charlie Kaufman movies, and we watched Synecdoche, New York, and we were watching all these really depressing movies, and then we watched this one, and I mean, goodness gracious, add it to... If you like sad movies, this is a great movie to watch.
3 saddest movies, go. Like, I already mentioned Schindler's List. I haven't seen Boyhood. Is that another sad one?
Well, it's directed by Richard Linklater, who is a must for any movie he has.
Oh, interesting. Manchester by the Sea is probably in the runner. I'm trying to think of another sad movie.
Well, Synecdoche, New York.
Titanic.
Well.
All those poor people drowning in the ocean. Sad part is letting Leonardo DiCaprio freeze to death when she clearly could have made
Joker
room
and
for him.
Perks of Being a Wallflower. I think Her is very bleak too, and even Dunkirk.
Oh, Her. That's a good one.
Sad movie.
Me on the Dying Girl is super sad. End of Watch is super
That is
sad.
Cameron, I'm so glad I have found someone else who has seen me
I
or
know
on
a
the
good
Dying
sad
Girl.
one. How about
Yeah,
The Impossible? That was a really sad movie.
Oh, yeah.
Ewan McGregor and,
Dude.
was it Nicole?
American
no, not
Sniper is
Nicole Kidman. What's
sad.
her name?
Dude, Thunder Road
Naomi
is
Watts.
so sad too, honestly.
Thunder Road was sad too.
Dead
Yeah.
Poet
Bridget
Society
Terabithia.
is sad. And
Oh, these are good ones, yeah.
Gone Baby Gone.
Dead Poets Society. Gone Baby Gone.
A Ghost Story.
That's an interesting one though because I'm more
50-50.
fascinated by the question of morality. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a sad movie, but I get it.
You could even put Prisoners on the list because
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman, like, you feel so
sad.
much for his character, but he crosses the line.
And Paul Dano pulling the Severus Snape twist where you're like,
Yeah.
he's a double agent. He's an innocent victim in all
Does
this.
he even know he's a double agent though?
No, I said he's an innocent victim in all
You
this.
feel so bad for the immorality in that movie
Yeah.
that it ends up being quite a sad movie.
Denis Villeneuve, dude. Yeah, and Sundays was devastating. Any Denis Villeneuve
Honestly,
movie.
there was moments of Django, like rewatching it for the
Blade Runner
pod.
was sad.
Well, he's French, type.
Dude, but watching Django, like there was a couple scenes where I had to look away.
What would you say? Django was sad?
No, I'm just saying there were certain moments where I had to look away, like just and it just gave me this sad feeling, like of like the fighting scene, that and the dog scene. Oof.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. The brutality of it all.
No,
yeah.
no spoilers. No spoilers. It's been on my watch list for a very long time.
Okay.
Bro, what are you doing not watching Django? Why are you watching Manchester by the Sea, Cameron? Wrong
For a
movie
third
for our
time.
podcast. Yeah, he's watched Manchester by the Sea 3 times and has never seen Django Unchained. Something wrong with that image.
Well,
Something wrong with it.
Manchester's in my top 100. Django isn't, so.
Well, you
You're wrong.
are really dumb. You're just so dumb. I feel bad for you, Jordan.
That's
how
because
does it feel to
Death
walk
Proof
around
is
with an
better.
IQ of pi?
Death
Well, Ty,
Proof is
Ty.
not better.
IQ
You're
of a
so
shoe.
stupid. I hate you.
Because
You're so dumb.
it sounds like, I mean,
You're wrong for your opinion.
no. It sounds like
There's nothing
you're
I
the
love more
minority.
than Jordan. Yeah, I love that scene. Yeah.
Oh, I always skip over that.
It sounds
know.
like Ty's kind of the minority in this group for how much Cam, Jordan, and I really like this movie, and we've all rewatched it. So let's hear what you have nitpicked from it.
Oh, yeah.
I did say, like, this is weird. I wanted to run this by you guys. Like, I don't know if this is an original story or a book. I know nothing about this. The title itself, Manchester by the Sea, it does sound like Old Man in the Sea. It reminds me of, like, Blow the Man. Like, these old fisherman tales that are really sad. Like, this is lore of, like, the guy that had the saddest life ever. Like, this is a Job tale, right? Like, family all dies, gets just miserable life. I just remember thinking, like, he could depress himself into an Oscar. Like, that thought kept occurring to me. I'm like, they could make a movie so sad that they'd be like, well, if we make it sad enough, we'll have to win an Oscar. I don't know. I kept thinking that. And again, a great performance by Casey Affleck. I'm not saying he didn't do a good job. And his Michelle Williams, she did a great job too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
really great performances. I just remember thinking, like, is it just sad? Like, is there a fascination with martyrdom? Like dying
husband.
on a hill where you're like, I'm so, I don't know. To me, and this feels worse today because I feel like we have such, like, we don't have problems. I know there are problems, but like our problems compared to people that were starving just like 80 years ago, like, and dying from like very menial like things. It's just like, it seems like we have everything so nerfed and we become so soft and we complain all the time. So this movie, I'm like, well, this guy's got legitimately a reason to complain, but I'm just imagining him going on Facebook today and being like, you'll never believe what happened. Or like on TikTok, like, my wife blames me for the death of my kids. Or I don't know why. I just was like, could this movie be any more sad? So that's my nitpick. It's too sad. It's too sad for the sake of being sad.
Your
Help
nitpick
me out
is it's too sad.
It's just too sad. Yeah. Is that not a nitpick? I just feel too sad watching this movie.
That's a valid. So, anyways, trivia for you: the script and the idea of the movie was a idea from Matt Damon and John Krasinski, and they pitched the idea to the director, and it was actually originally planned for Matt Damon to direct it. He ended up just becoming the producer. But it was
Ben
their
Affleck
idea.
and Matt Damon are like famously good friends. I'm sure Casey Affleck hung out in that group all the time too because they all star in movies together. That Lucas Hedges, the kid that plays Patrick, he reminds me a lot of Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting. His character in this movie, I could see a young Matt Damon out of him. I don't know if you got that vibe. The Patrick reminds me a lot of a young Matt Damon.
Just the
from
scene when
Good
he
Will
starts
Hunting.
crying with the chicken or like the freezer. I got
He's crying with the chicken. I
falls.
actually was waiting for it. I was like, the kid's gonna have a mental breakdown. I was waiting for it, and it was about the freezer. Like, he was so
Yeah.
hung up on the fact that his dad was gonna have to wait in a
Freezer.
freezer until
Yeah.
they could bury him to the ground.
See
was
that
softer.
reminded me of the
That was
hug
great.
he gave to or like the reaction he had with what's his name, Robin Williams, when he's like, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault." Like, that's what it reminded me
And
of.
Matt Damon does the biggest cry.
So my one nitpick, the only thing I
You're the
caught
worst.
was, and I've been listening to too many. I've been re-listening to all of YMS's videos on YouTube, Ty, and he talks about like sound effects. He's like, try not to focus too much on the stock audio because it'll start to bug you. And I noticed that when he punches the guy in the bar, there's like a gasp, and it's like clearly used like. It's the same audio that they use in a lot of movies. So I just like, I was like, oh, you couldn't have. It kind of took me out of the film. So I'm like, gosh dang
Dude,
it.
you want to ruin movies? Okay, any movie that has a theme park, they play a soundbite that's used in the game
yeah.
Roller Coaster Tycoon. They use the same one.
Yes.
It's the same screen.
like the
and every
Wilhelm-
single time there's a
Wilhelm
crowd,
scream.
it's the same cheer. They go, "Ah!" whoop, whoop.
It
Yeah,
takes
you
me
always
out
hear
of
the
every
whoop,
movie that
whoop,
has
but
the.
It happens every single time. Listen, next time there's an applause or a group surrounding, you're going to hear the same chant. Anytime you hear the door closing, there's always that same sound. I'm very familiar with sound mixing. I'm like, why don't they come up with more noises? Is it just because we have to associate these sounds? Like, what's wrong with making original sound? I don't understand.
Do y'all think
We should have many more sounds, is my point.
Do y'all think it
We just use
had
the same few.
a good amount of dialogue? Do you think it had too little dialogue or too much dialogue? Or do you think
thought
it
it was perfect.
pretty much the right amount?
I enjoyed that there wasn't the insulting of intelligence where they didn't like say like this is the flashback, because I remember thinking, I'm like, that's gonna be his brother in there, like that must have been a flashback. I was waiting for that because I was like, okay, it is his brother that's died, and this is a flashback, because it kept it. At first, I didn't actually notice any flashback other than the fact that he was wearing a brighter color shirt, which was another subtle way, or maybe not so subtle way, of like showing like a much happier time before, we'll call it the incident, the accident, you know. So
Yeah, and going along with what Justin said too, when I just love when they use flashbacks, because there's the part when his wife dies, Ty, and it's when he's talking to the guy and
wife
he's trying to figure out
dies?
the
the
funeral
lawyer,
arrangement.
who is the actor from? No, the wife doesn't die.
Yeah,
I think I
Jordan.
know what you're saying. His kids die. No,
Oh,
it's fine.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Kids die. Wife nearly dies,
But
house
just
burns down.
yeah, when he's sitting there thinking and it's flashing,
Talking about the responsibility
Yes.
of taking on a new kid, and
That's
yeah,
my
it's very
favorite
good.
scene, probably.
Oh.
It's so good because you can tell that he kind of doesn't like his life before he finds out the bad news about his brother.
Right.
And so when he has these bad exchanges with these customers, his boss has to chew him out. He gets in a fight with the bar scene, and you're like, why does this guy not like his life? Why is he so miserable? And that's way before he even finds out about his brother's death. And then before you even find out what's wrong with his life and his past, they do the flashbacks about his brother dying and how his heart condition. And so it keeps you wondering about Lee's past and his what he's gone through while still focusing on the brother. They were genius.
And don't worry, everybody. It crescendos. It just keeps getting sadder and sadder.
Oh,
don't
and
worry.
I
If
think-
you think like, oh, it couldn't possibly get sadder, the movie will go there. Don't
No.
worry.
See, you know,
Just
okay, you know,
buckle
it's
up.
funny. Okay, well, so one exactly kind of what Justin was saying is, I think that's what one of the best parts of this movie too is. It's just such a good job at show don't tell. Is like you figure it, like the director treats you as an intelligent viewer, and it's like he's not going to say, oh, his children, each of them burned alive. It's like you put together 2 and 2 that he had children, that like he came back like and like the house is burned down. He does. That's how I love, is just doing a lot of those things and kind of like
Cameron's like, I needed to see those children on fire.
Yeah, I need to see those firemen carrying body bags of unidentified people. Like, who are the 2 people in the body bags?
I think you guys say that when
2
I literally
drunk friends
just
that didn't
said
leave the garage?
it's a good job for not showing that. But I love it because he just.
Cameron, we were
No, we were.
I
I
know.
was saying.
I know, and you guys are like,
Oh, Cameron, I care about your feelings, man. Put the gun down, all right?
Cameron, put the gun down.
you guys. Are the
He's got a
worst.
gun. Put it down. Oh my gosh. So anyway, other nitpicks. I don't have too many
and then
others.
I was also going to say,
Juggling 2 girlfriends.
I loved, you talked about the tone as well, Justin. I just wanted to add to that. Like, Snow is like, I mean, I don't know the statistics about, I think it's like more depressing time of year, isn't it not? Or
For sure.
Seasonal affective disorder. Sad. SAD.
Yeah.
That's also
Yeah.
bias talking from me, though. Because I hate
but
winter.
but yeah, I mean, I do too. And so it's just like this feeling, like the whole time I'm just like, and when they're trying to find the car in the snow and they're like, where is the car? And you're just like, just like, it just added to that level of both stress and also just feeling, it's like, why don't we just put the body in here, you know, and keep them.
Also so real. It's
so
like
good.
that definitely has happened at
Yes.
one time, and that's what you feel the cold when like it's those scenes where he's like, I'm freezing my butt off. Like, what the fudge are we doing? Where'd you park the car? And he's like, I can't freaking remember. Okay, like just
Yeah.
that frustration of being together, and like
A
trying to.
lot on his mind. Yeah.
And like the little argument that they had of him like driving away as he opened the car door, and like that little fight, that's just so real. I'm just like, you're like, I was about to get out, you're about to kill me. Like,
I said, let's go.
I want to run your legs off.
No, I meant like, let's go in. I'm sorry for my use of the English language.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, oh, I'm sorry too, I guess.
Just a misunderstanding. Let's go. I mean, let's go inside. Starts driving away. Could have ran over your foot. My goodness. So, quotes. You guys have any quotes from this movie? We said most of them.
yeah.
You should do your best Boston accent, Karen. Let's hear it.
I can't do a good Boston accent.
My hat was broken.
Oh my gosh, stop.
That's the best I could do.
All
My hat
I
was
can
broken.
think about is when his ex-wife tells him to come down. When she comes down and tells him to be quiet and get them out of the house, and she's just like total. It's such a like a perfect portray of like an angry Boston woman. Like she just comes down and get his mother effers out of my Evan house, and she's just like, I'm serious.
Yeah, and she's like treating them like they're just a bunch of bums, like mooching off her out her house. She's like, get them the F out of here right now.
Yeah.
No, the only thing I can think of tied with the Boston accent is just Matt Damon when he's like, hey, you like apples? Well, I got a
like them
number.
apples. Yeah.
I like them apples.
No, yeah, it was. Like, there was a scene where he's like, Patrick's like, what happened to your hand? He goes, I cut it. When he punches the window pane, it's bleeding, right? He's like, I cut it. He goes, oh, thanks. For a minute there, I didn't understand what happened. Like, obviously cut your hand. It's just really funny because it's like bleeding and he's got it
reminds
wrapped
me
up.
of
And
The
he's
Nice
like,
Guys.
oh, thanks for a minute there. I didn't realize.
That's a lot of
You
blood.
cut your hand. Obviously, it's bleeding. You obviously cut your hand, dude. Like, I don't know.
Ty,
Just
did it
thought that
not
was
remind you
really
of The
funny.
Nice Guys? That's a lot of blood.
Oh, that's a lot of blood. Dude, oh
Fetching
my
Ryan
gosh,
Gosling.
love that movie, dude.
Oh yeah, Ty. And if you liked the girl's performance, the wife, the pregnant wife who lost her kids, what is her name?
The actress in this
yes.
movie? Oh, Michelle Williams?
Okay, so Michelle, she's also in Blue Valentine with Ryan Gosling, and her performance in that is very sad and depressing too, and she's really good. If you want more
I got
sad
two
movies.
girlfriends and I'm in a band, Jordan. Last thing I wrote down was just the doctor. He was just like, but it's not a good disease. And then Joe Chandler's like, what is a good disease?
Gosh, yeah, and that
funny.
woman,
It's
which I think
lupus.
is must,
which she didn't say anything, but I just thought it'd be so funny. She's like, AIDS.
which I thought was kind of cool. See, that's another like show don't tells. It seemed like it must have been like their father's new wife, because she seemed a lot younger than him and freaking annoying as shiz.
I thought that was the drunk alcohol lady. I still did. Is that not his
No.
drunk alcohol? It's his, oh, wow. This is like mother-in-law, stepmother. Interesting. So, would you guys recommend Manchester by the Sea?
If you're into sad movies, absolutely.
Depending on who I'm recommending it to. I know there's a lot of like not avid movie watchers that would probably hate this movie, but I would recommend it to anyone who can understand a sad, slow movie.
Great performance from Casey Affleck.
and doesn't mind language.
I don't recommend this movie. I'm sorry.
I do, but to my roommate Zach,
Because Ty doesn't understand film.
I keep telling him to watch it.
That's right. I don't understand film.
Because
and
this
he's
movie,
right.
because this movie went over his head.
Yeah, I did understand the
Depression.
flashbacks.
Ty just doesn't like sad movies.
I love stressful movies, and I do like movies
I said
that are
not
sad.
sad. I said sad movies.
Oh, I know, but what I'm getting to is I like sad, stressful movies. This movie was boring sad. I'm sorry.
Ty,
That
then
sounds
you would
mean.
love Ghost Story.
This is also
Yeah.
Casey Affleck.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
the slowest movie I've ever seen.
And he wrote it. That's why it's so slow, I think.
But I kind of liked Roma, so like I do like boring movies. There's like a 5-minute mopping the floor scene in that movie, so like I get it.
Yeah,
like, I
6
do, like,
minute eating pie.
I'm just saying, yeah. For whatever reason, I just wouldn't recommend it. But
Have you seen La La
I had a good
Land,
time watching.
Ty?
I have seen.
Did
La
you
La
like
Land,
the
yes.
ending?
Did I like the ending? I know I
Yes.
hated the beginning. I know that's not your question, but the very opening musical number, that
The
was
first scene, yes, is terrible.
yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie, and then I'm like, okay, it does get better.
Everything is-
If you're
it's so
asking
out
about
of-
the ending, where
I'm
it's the
asking because
alternative
the
universe.
ending is
Yeah.
so not cliche.
Yes,
Every
I love-
rom-com ever, every romantic ever, they always end up together. And this one time in La La Land,
Whoa!
it-
Have you seen 500 Days of Summer? I got a
well,
chick flick.
of course
to
I've seen
recommend to you.
yes.
Oh, okay.
But La La
I was gonna say,
Land,
they did it first.
La La
No,
Land is the
you're
most
right.
recent one I can think of.
Yes.
No, yeah,
where they
and
just
they
don't.
And they do it
And-
perfectly because they appease all the little girls that want the perfect ending where they show what it could have been. But he's like, but this is reality.
Right, and it's beautiful, but it's reality. And so, Ty, the reason why I like Manchester by the Sea so much is it's because it is finally a movie that's out there that is sad, but it doesn't have that really nice, tied up in a bow present happy ending that most people
I would
look
just say
forward
walking
to.
a fine line, sir, between entertainment and escapism with like depression. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but that's
It is now.
Yeah, that's my caveat, and that's why I don't recommend it. It's just like,
What the F did I just hear?
yeah, I don't know. Just
I'm
like
gonna act like you didn't just say that.
no, like what it like cut me or whatever emo.
Oh my-
right? No,
This is not emo.
it is, dude. The guy tries to commit suicide. This movie's bleak as all. Anyway, I'm just saying.
And the
whatever.
moral of the story is not
get-
kill yourself. The moral of the story is get better day by day, but life is
Right,
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear
do you
that.
not
That's
get any
emo?
sense
What
of
the F is
a
wrong with
little
you?
bit loyalty? You know, like when he's sitting with the funeral dude who's advising him on what to do, and he finds out that he is the next guardian, and he's just like, "Oh no, it can't be me." And then the guy helps him try to list off people that it could be. He's like, "Oh, what about his mom?
Hey, you want to be his guardian?
Yeah, well,
Do you want to watch it?
What about when he's like, what about his mom?" I'm just saying, like, there are a couple moments where it is good. You know, like Cameron says, the moral of the story is about getting better day by day, and there are moments of loyalty from Lee, Casey Affleck's character, of he's like, "Oh, it can't be me. I can't be the guardian," and then he's just like, "Oh, it definitely can't be his mom, though." You know, like, and so he finally realized it must be me. And it's the moral of the story is trying. I think she's trying to forgive herself for blaming him. I should have gone to hell for the things I called you. He's trying to forgive himself. He's trying. It's a
mistake. I do like that reading. Like I said, in the end, you guys have made me like this movie much more than I thought coming into it. So I'm grateful for that, because this discussion was more enjoyable than the film, which is why I don't recommend it. But if you guys have a great group of friends that you can talk about film like we do here on the podcast, do it, you know?
Or if you
Challenge
like sad
yourself. Watch
movies.
this movie. Yeah, or if you if you just want a good cry, you know, just watch this movie to bawl your eyes out. Justin, we end every movie podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately and movies that we're looking forward to seeing. Is there any movies that you've seen lately?
yes. Well, first of all, I'm a big 007 fan, so I went and saw No Time to Die. It's
Where does it rank? What do you think?
out of
Where
all
does
the Bond movies, or just the Daniel
At
Craig?
least Daniel Craig's, yeah. At least Daniel Craig's movies.
Skyfall, then Casino Royale, then I have No Time to Die, and then I have Spectre,
and
and then I have
Quantum of Solace. I have the same order, except I would switch Casino and Skyfall personally.
Okay.
I do love Skyfall though, but I think Casino was just changed
Casino
the whole.
Royale's-
Yeah.
And then, so big 007 fan, so I very much
Right on.
enjoyed that. I have several things I would nitpick about it, but I still love it. And then I have a couple. I just rewatched Moneyball for the probably
I did
gajillionth
too.
time.
So good.
Yeah, I did.
It's-
See, there's a slow, sad movie.
It
Very
shows.
sad, too.
It first of all, it has a beautiful ending of a metaphor, and
Which he literally says, "Low Joe to Hell."
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
metaphor.
And then
know it's a metaphor.
yeah, he's just like, I get the metaphor.
I get it. Yeah.
But I love that because it shows the numbers and the business side of sports, which not very many sport movies do. So 10 out of 10 would recommend that. I freaking love that movie. I just recently watched Wind River.
So good.
Holy-
No way, you did.
Yeah, dude,
top 100
that's what we need to do on the pod.
I mean, I don't know if I slept well that night. That movie was, I don't have words for that. I mean,
Elizabeth Olsen. Sorry, it had to be said. Also,
Wow,
It's
Cameron.
just-
My depression comment was too much, but you. That.
like, I don't even,
that's not what I did, but close.
I don't even know where to start with that movie. I will
I know,
say
the final
one-
shootout?
the
Jay, get away from the door.
the scene, the flashback scene had me super unsettled. Like
Yeah.
I was
Well, before that scene, I was like, I mean, I could recommend this to anybody. And then I saw that and I'm like, oh, geez.
that one scene of where they show like what happened in that trailer was very hard to watch, and it had me unsettled for the rest of the movie. But holy cow, was that movie
Really satisfied when Jeremy Renner takes matters into his own hands.
True.
And escorts him up to the top of the mountain. And
That-
like,
but-
I'll give you the same chance that you gave her.
that movie was so
So
Yes.
good.
beautiful.
And so
Oh my gosh.
what's the word?
Justice.
So I had no idea it was gonna be that suspenseful.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna be like a mystery, homicide movie because obviously that's what they give the little plot description as, but I had no idea it was going to be like that on the edge of my seat. Wow. Wind River, I think, I don't have my IMDb up anymore, but I think I gave it an 8.
That's in the top 100 for sure.
I think I gave it an 8 out of 10.
That's in my top 100. If you want,
And justly so. That's a sad movie, but I'm just saying somehow it's entertaining as all. I mean,
And then when
cow.
he's like, don't go into my, he's like, can I talk to your wife? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. And Jeremy Renner's like, not a good idea. And she goes in, the mom's like cutting herself. Like that had it was heavy, but holy cow. I can't even put my words into a freaking complete sentence about that movie.
Great.
I
Glad you
thought of a
watched it.
really dark joke when you were talking about that, but I'll say it anyways. I'll just bleep it out. But
Jeez.
I was gonna say,
What the fudge?
Oh my.
Yeah. No thanks. That's about as far as I can go. Wind River. That's about as far as I go. For
Yeah. And then lastly, I just recently.
I'm good, man. Thanks. Why don't you just keep that to yourself? Huh?
Yeah,
Okay, you freak.
Jordan, come on. And then lastly, I am skeptical about Netflix original movies. They're usually a decent watch, but not anything spectacular.
well, did you watch Squid Game?
Not yet, but I just
You're
recently...
the only person left that hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I
in the
know.
entire world.
Just about. I just recently watched Extraction with
Solid.
Chris Hemsworth.
Very enjoyable.
Oh, so good.
It
It's
was
good.
very. I probably like honestly. If I were to actually think about it, it's like a 5.5, 6 out of 10. You're very average, but it was like very
Very
good
entertaining.
choreography. Like the
Yeah.
fighting was really good choreography and very typical. Like we gotta extract the person that's a person of interest, and he basically kills half the country to get there. But
Hey, to save that one little Indian boy.
but anyways, I liked
Danny,
it.
I don't know what
Worth
it was.
it.
I liked
It
it.
was worth it. That kid went on to cure cancer, by the way. And he ran with that purse all the way to medical school.
No, that kid went to win
Giants.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Yep, exactly. Went on to win $1 million. And they ended the movie with that
Same
dance number.
universe.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Justin, do you have a social media presence you want people aware of to stalk you on?
I mean, I could. My socials are Justin Watsop on Facebook. It's I'm Justin Time on Instagram, but the I on I'm is a 1.
Just in Time is what I call that Justin Timberlake movie. The
In Time?
green wrist. Yeah. It's In Time, I think it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah.
But it's Justin Timberlake.
Hey, that
Why did
movie's
they call
good.
it Just in Time? Why did they
Why do you
call
hate
it
that movie so much? That movie's good.
I like
That movie, oh.
It's a solid 6
It's-
out of 10. Just
it's a
here,
solid-
my only recommendation is keep
It's a
me
solid
in
parody
mind
movie.
for future podcast episodes.
Gattaca's great. I like Gattaca, but I don't really care for In
Absolutely,
Time. I'm
Justin.
sorry. It's like an SNL movie where they're like,
when
isn't it
we
funny?
do Wind
Like,
River, Justin, we'll definitely have to have you on.
Oh, have me
sure.
on for Wind River. Have me on, dude, please. Cameron, let me know when you guys are doing movies because I love coming on this podcast and it gives me an excuse to
well, that's all the time we have, folks. Everybody, yeah, so.
And I'm unfollowing on Spotify.
That's right. Yeah, block us on Facebook. Block us on all the social media sites.
No, I
everybody.
love coming on the podcast because it gives me an opportunity to rewatch a movie I love or watch one I haven't seen before. So
Yeah, honestly, it's nice sometimes to like. That's how I felt like with Django this week because I just like really needed because I really wasn't in the mood. I said I was in the mood like 3 weeks ago, but then this week I was not in the mood. But then forcing myself to rewatch it, I'm like, I'm so glad I rewatched it.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
the same, Cameron. I didn't want to watch it, and then I rewatched it. I'm like, oh,
So
dang.
You guys are
Masterpiece.
idiots. I couldn't wait to watch this movie.
And I don't
My
know
gosh,
about
we have to
y'all,
talk about it.
but like my watch list is like 300 movies long, but I never know which one to watch. I'm just
Yeah,
like, wow,
that's me
and then
too.
I'll narrow it down to like 20, and I'm like, I don't know which one to watch tonight,
Justin,
and I
you
just
want to know?
don't.
My cheat code is what I do is I have a someday playlist where I add like almost everything from my watch list to my someday, and then you just on your watch list I only have 10 to 25 movies that I'm like really excited about, and then I just go through those every single time until it gets low, and then I take it from my someday.
And then you just take the square root and divide it by the logarithms of the tangent and cosine, and then you simply find x. And it's very simple.
Yeah, if I were to
and
put
that's the movie
this
you
much
pick
effort into
every
my
night.
homework, I think I would have just hundreds across the board, but.
That's right, dude. Cameron gets an A+ for effort, dude. We love you, Cameron. So we're going to end this podcast. Everybody, leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Check us out on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram, Patreon, Facebook. I already mentioned Instagram. All the social media sites, and leave us a review. 5 stars and leave us a comment in our YouTube videos, or give us an email. Tell us a movie that you'd like us to review, or a movie that we reviewed in the past that you had took issue with. So anyway, this is Futro Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
Bye.
I can't deal with it.